Well, I've got a big announcement for you today, but before we get into that, we're talking keywords. That's right, when you're selling on Amazon, the money is in the keywords. And so today I'm going to show you our back to front, start to finish keyword research process. Let's get started. Welcome to the channel today. If it is your first time on the channel, well, I want to give an extra special warm welcome to you to this channel today. And if you want to build a business that helps you to get free from the grip that money places over our time and that helps you to enjoy life, make an impact on the world, then be sure to subscribe to this channel because that's exactly what I create content about. And today we're talking about Amazon keyword research. And you'll notice when I talked about it, I said our process for Amazon keyword research. Well, when I talk about our process, I'm going to have more on that at the end of the video. I've got a big announcement and excited to let you guys know about something we've been working on for a long time that is now public. Make sure you do stick around because we do have a competition running as well where we're going to give away a package of done for you services that are similar to what I'm going to be talking about in this video. So stick around to the end for that announcement. And so before we do that, we're going to talk Amazon keyword research. And before we get into that, we better define what a keyword is. A keyword is simply when you tell Amazon or whatever platform you're on what your product is and how you want customers to find it. So if you're selling a yoga mat, you're going to tell Amazon this is a yoga mat. That's your keyword. And you want people to find when they're looking for a yoga mat. And now, of course, there are many thousands, tens, hundreds of thousands, millions of different keywords to describe different things because of the way people change the order of words and so many other things. But that is what a keyword is. But in this video, I'm going to show you the process that we use to get the best keywords, to use the most relevant keywords, and make sure that our listings are generating the kind of momentum that we want to see. So we're going to jump into the computer. I'm going to show you around the tools that we use and how we use them. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go on to Amazon and we're going to do a competitor keyword search. The first thing to do that we need to understand is who are our competitors. More importantly, who are our leading competitors. We want to go into a market, and let's use the example, as we have done a few times, of an essential oil air diffuser. If we're going to be selling an air diffuser, I want to go into this market. I want to understand who are the top players because I want to be getting my keywords from the people that are getting results. Some of these guys are getting results, some of them aren't. I don't want to be getting my keywords from ones that aren't getting results because they're not getting any results. I know, simple maths. So what I'm going to do in order to understand that is I'm going to pull up the Helium 10 Chrome extension. Now, Helium 10 is a tool that I'm going to be using throughout this tutorial. It is our go-to tool. There are others available, and we do use others from time to time, but Helium 10 is the main one for reasons which I will show you or will become evident throughout this video. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the Chrome extension and use the X-ray tool here. And that's going to aggregate all of this data from page 1 of all of these essential oil air diffusers. And I'm going to sort it by sales, the number of sales, because I want to really pull from the competitors that are doing a lot of volume. And so as you can see here, there are a bunch of different ones doing a bunch of different volumes. £65,000 a month on an air diffuser, £72,000 a month, £29,000 a month, 23, so on. You get it. There's a lot of volume in this market. For the UK, this is a decent amount of volume for one product. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Helium 10 and I'm going to use the tool Cerebro. Helium 10, as I say, is a suite of tools. It's got a whole bunch of tools for product research, for trends, for misspellings, for optimizing your listings, for so many things. But we're going to look at a couple of them today in this video. And the first one is Cerebro, which is listed as a reverse ASIN lookup, which is basically where you're going to look at all of the keywords that these products are ranking for. Now, what's super powerful about Cerebro now is that you can enter up to 10 of your competitors at once. Whereas before you had to do them all individually, now you can enter all 10. And when you do enter them all together, which I would recommend, you get some really cool aggregated data features that you don't get when you only do one. So I've kind of populated this ahead of time. And so I'm going to do exact ASIN match here. This is like a new feature, but basically just means that it's only going to be, the main variations, not all all of the child variations. It's not overly important, but I tend to click this exact async match one, and then I'm going to click get keywords. This is what's going to help us to really locate all of the keywords that these products are ranking for. Now what that means is that when someone searches for a certain keyword, then these products have the potential to show up for them. Of course, we're going to have things like essential oil air diffusers, and so on. But as I've said, there are thousands of different ways to describe this product just because of the variations of the English language and the limitations of search engines. So there are, the broader a set of keywords we can be ranking for with our products, the better. The more exposure we're going to have, the more traffic we should get, and ultimately the more money our business is going to make and the more profit that we can pocket. So what this is going to do is it's going to come up with all of these keywords here. As you can see, 15,000 keywords, so quite a lot. First thing I tend to do is sort it by search volume, because you want to see this in order. We're going to do this through each of the steps because it's going to help us when we go to combine this data. We're going to take data from a bunch of different sources, combine it into one source, and then sort it. This makes it just so much easier to do it like this. You can do it later on if you need to. And so then what I'm going to do, and the reason I really highly recommend using relevant products, you see how if you looked at all of these aces, you'd see that if we were to look at each of them, they were all air diffusers. There's no packs of 6 different essential oils, or there's no plug-in diffusers, or it's all the same kind of product that we're putting in to here. And the reason for that is all about relevance. With your keywords, you don't want to keyword stuff your listing. You don't want to have just random keywords in the hope that someone might find you. You want to have as many relevant keywords as possible, and you don't have endless amounts of room on your Amazon listing to use keywords. So you do want to be smart, and you do want to use as many relevant keywords as possible. And what I love about this new sort of feature with being able to do up to 10 competitors on Helium 10 is that you can use something called the ranking competitors. So what this does is it tells you the amount of these competitors up here, so these 8 or 9 different competitors that we've got up here, how many of them are ranking for this keyword. You see how only 2 of them are ranking for LED lights, which suggests that it's not really that relevant. You see how the car accessories is only 1, because again, it's not that relevant. Even here, Yankee Candle, none of them are ranking. And now you say, Ben, you just said these are all ranking for it. Well, technically that's true on the most part, but Helium 10 has these 3 different match types that you can actually include, which are organic, which means you are ranking for it, sponsored, which means you're showing up for the sponsored search terms for it, and then also Amazon recommended. So as you can see here, this Yankee Candle one of these, at least one of these products, will be showing up in the sponsored results. It won't be showing up organically or as an Amazon suggested, because it's clearly irrelevant. But for some reason, one of these products will be appearing or be showing for something related to Yankee Candle. So that's why it shows up. So you can, exclude these if you want. I leave them in because this next step actually is going to, really clear out this whole thing for us. Because what we're going to do is we're going to come into advanced filters, and we are going to go and do ranking competitors, and I've got 8 examples here. I think 8. Yep. So we need I'm going to put in there at least 6, which is obviously the majority, are ranking for 6 of these products are ranking for a particular keyword, and we'll see what that does to the overall number. Okay, so it's down to 4, 5, 6. Bingo, that's exactly what we wanted. So I'm not going to do anything more with this because, done what we need to. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go to export, and we're going to export it to, you can either export it to CSV or Excel. Either one is fine. I'm going to export it to Excel, and you can use this with Excel, with pages, numbers on Mac, or Google Sheets, which is what we're going to sort of put it all into in a minute. So that's the first step. That is the competitor keyword search. The next step, step 2, is we want to do a market keyword search. So rather than just product specific, we want to look across the entire market of this keyword and look for Amazon to find us related keywords that could potentially be useful. And then to do that, we're going to use this tool Magnet, which is the keyword research tool of Helium 10. Now, a lot of people will jump straight to this step, and they may have actually missed keywords that other competitors are using, because what Magnet finds and what Cerebro finds are, mostly similar, but sometimes have small differences. And those differences, when you are trying to rise to the top of your competition, those 5 to 10% difference makers can make the difference. And so we're going to come into magnet here as a second step, not our first, and we're going to put in, I think I've already done one here. Yep, we're going to do essential oil air diffusers, essential oil diffusers, because that is the main traffic keyword for this item. And that's what you want to do, is you want to find, the main traffic keyword, the most popular keyword for a product, and you can do that by searching something that's related to it in magnet, and then again coming and sorting by search volume, find the one that's the most, that's still mostly relevant, and then put it in. So I could have put oil diffusers, but it's a little bit more broad, so I chose essential oil diffusers. Either one is going to be fine, and there's not going to be too many differences, but you can obviously make that decision. And then you're going to put it in here, click get keywords, and it's going to bring up the screen like this. Do of course make sure you're in the right market. I chose the UK because Rule Britannia and all that, but make sure you choose the one that you are targeting with this particular product. And I would recommend doing this process for each marketplace. So rather than doing it for the US and then just copying everything over to the UK, there will be two very different marketplaces with different ways of saying things. So I would encourage you to repeat this process for each marketplace. And of course, non-English speaking marketplaces, that is even more of the case. And so then we're going to do a similar kind of thing here, where we want to basically refine these results. You see here only 3,800 results here, as opposed to the 15,000 that we got from Cerebro. But what we can do, like I say, is initially sort by search volume, and then you might want to potentially put a minimum search volume on there. This is personal choice, and it depends how much time you want to devote through sorting through things. It also does depend, like this whole process does depend on what kind of budget you have to launch, because if you're trying to launch with a very low budget, what you're going to want to look for is you're going to want to look for low search volume but long tail keywords to launch to include in your listing, to include in your PPC, and really target early on, because those are the ones that you're going to be able to get some more traction with without doing a large number of giveaways, without doing a big promotion, and especially if you don't have too many reviews. So lots of variables, lots to consider, but for example, you might want to consider a search volume as a minimum of 250 searches per month, just so you know there's a decent amount of volume going into each of these keywords. So that brings the filtered keywords down to 248. It's a little bit more manageable, and those ones are going to have some decent volume. So next thing we're going to do is again come up to export. We're going to go to Excel, and we're going to export that one. So that's just going to download there. And then what I would recommend is, a lot of people would leave it there and they would say, hey, there's my keyword research done. But what you're doing there is that you are doing a half-assed job. And now I wouldn't recommend doing that, because this is your business and you should take it seriously and put the work in to see the results. And so what I would then do is I would take some of these different keywords, like this one, for instance, oil diffusers. As I mentioned before, I used essential oil diffusers, and so this time maybe I would just come in and do oil diffusers, because that's a different keyword, and I would do the same again. Same process, and I'm going to sort by search volume again. I'm going to do minimum 250 search volume, and then I'm going to export it to Excel again. I'd recommend doing this process several times for different keywords. If there's only one way of describing your product, you've probably chosen a bad product to sell, because everyone's going to be going after that one keyword. But if, like most products, there's more than one way to describe them, then make sure you do this process, repeat this process a few times with the most traffic keywords. We've done essential oil diffusers and then oil diffusers, and then you might want to look down the list. You might have a threshold of at least 10,000 searches, or the top 5 kind of most relevant keywords that you repeat this process for. So I've done it with oil diffusers, I've done it with essential oil diffusers. Then you might come down and see what's next. You might go diffusers for essential oils. Only 5,500 searches, nearly 6,000 searches, but still worth going through the process again to calculate these. There's a different number here of keywords, slightly different, so it's including a few others that the other one hasn't. And if we narrow that down to minimum 250, and then we're going to apply that again, and the other one was 400 and something, I think, and so we'll see how many this one brings up. So only 171. So you see how it's a different number, so there's going to be different keywords in this list as was to the other list, and if you hadn't done this process, you wouldn't know which ones they were, and you might be leaving some money on the table. So repeat this process a few times, and like I say, based on the variables, you're going to want to potentially pull through maybe some longer keywords if you've got a lower budget. But on the whole, this is the overall process. So you're going to export that again to Excel, and then you're going to have several different Excel files, and now we're going to jump into how to compile that data. Step 3, once you've done your competitor keyword search, you've done your market keyword search, now it's time to compile that data and start to compile the lists that are going to form the core focus of your listing. So within our keyword research process, which is obviously just one part of the listing creation and optimization process, it's a small part, but a very important part that you really shouldn't neglect. You should spend as much time as you need to get this right. We have a keyword master doc, which we're about to paste some data into, and then we have a targets tab, which then we're going to begin to sort of build out these lists. These are the 3 lists we're going to build in this process in the next few minutes. List number 1 is your core phrases, which is going to be 5 to 10 core phrases that you're going all out to target initially in your listing. I would recommend, again, depending on your budget and lots of different variables, generally speaking, 2 to 3 short tail, high volume keywords, 2 to 3 mid tail, mid volume keywords, and then 2 to 3 long tail, but potentially lower traffic keywords. So you've got a good mix in there. Again, play with that and adjust it to your circumstances. But then we're going to end up with a list of 5 to 10 phrases. Then we're going to go PPC phrases. This is a list of 50 to 100 keyword phrases that you might not necessarily put in all of them in your PPC campaign right away, but seeing as you're in the midst of doing this research, you might as well get this list of phrases in order to be able to have that list there for the future. And then with that list, we're going to then create a list of singular words, which is going to be the 100 to 200 most popular, most used, most important singular words to then put in your Amazon listing. List number 1, core phrases. This is all about driving ranking. List number 2, PPC phrases. This is all about driving sales, whereas list number 3, your singular words, this is about driving traffic. Okay, list 1, our focus is ranking. It's all about getting those 5 to 10 phrases ranked as quickly as possible. Number 2 is about driving sales to keywords with PPC, which of course these are intertwined and they're not completely separate, but there is a sort of a focus with each of these lists. And then list 3, as I say, is all about driving traffic, having as many relevant keywords in your listing as possible so that the Amazon algorithm can recognize that can show you for certain things. And those are the purpose of these 3 lists. And so how are we going to obviously populate these lists? Well, we're going to pull up our Excel files that we downloaded from Helium 10 just a moment ago. I'm just going to use 2 of them just for the sake of brevity, but obviously you would pull up each of these lists and repeat this process. So we're going to pull it down from the first row. We're going to do Command or Control Shift down to take us to the bottom, and then we're going to copy these 457 rows. I'm going to come over to my master sheet on my Google Sheet, and I'm going to paste that bad boy in there. And then I'm going to repeat that process for the other Excel document. And obviously in your time, you can sort of, tidy this up a bit. You can sort of extend that out to give you a bit more room and make these ones bold and look all nice and pretty. And then we're going to come from row 2 because you don't want to take the title row again. And we're going to do Command Shift down all the way to the bottom, Command or Control and C to copy. And then we've come back to the top, so we're going to go Command Shift down to the bottom, and then we're going to paste these in there. And don't worry that some of these columns are different from Cerebro to Magnet because we're only going to be using a couple of these columns. We don't need all of that other data. So what we're going to do first and foremost is, because you're going to have several different versions of keyword research, you're going to have a whole bunch of duplicates in there, and we need to get rid of those because we don't want to obviously be working with duplicates. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to come up to the top and then highlight the sheet, come up to data, and then remove duplicates, and then we want to undo select all because we don't want to remove like the duplicate numbers because that'll take off everything. We want to just choose column A because that is our phrase, and then data has header row. We want to make sure that that is checked also. So we've got column A there. It's going to remove duplicates, and what was about 600, there you go, 117 duplicate rows found and removed. So there's 588 rows, unique rows remain. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to sort this by search volume, so it pulls all of the ones that were lower down all the way to the top, and it is in order of search volume. So on Google Sheets, you can come up and do it by coming up to here, sort sheet Z to A. Z obviously being the highest numbered letter, so the highest numbers would be at the top, and then it's going to bring a few of these up for you here, which is a bit of a pain. There would be probably quicker and easier ways to do this for some spreadsheet experts out there, but this is just how I do it, and then I'm going to get rid of those rows, and it's just going to leave the data we want. Okay, and so what this has done is it's produced for us a list of keywords that we now need to go through and look at the relevance of. And so this is where it does get a little bit, your eyes start to get a bit blurry, and it starts to get a little bit tiring at times, because you do need to give this list a good thorough cleanup, because there will still be, despite the fact that we tried to make it as relevant as possible, there will still be some irrelevant terms in here, and so we need to give it a bit of a cleanup. The process that I would recommend is first by choosing your list of core targets. List number one, your core target phrases, because that's quite easy to do. It's going to be near the top because we want to generally go for the higher search volume. Even if you're looking for longer tail, low search volume, you don't want to be going down into like the depths of search volume. You still want it to have some search volume. So you can do this probably within the first 100, no matter what your budget is or what your aims are. You can do this within the first 100 keywords. So you're going to look through, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight each one. I'm going to hold down Command when I see one that I want to target. So I've got essential oils. I'm going to leave that because it's not relevant, because we're selling the diffuser. Don't be fooled into thinking that I could target essential oils and get some sales. You might get some, but it also may hurt your relevance. So target for your core list. Target keywords that are relevant. Essential oils, don't worry, that will go in our listing later on, but for this first core list of core target phrases, we want to make sure they are hyper relevant. So oil diffusers, yep. Air purifier, I would say no, because unless yours is one that purifies air, if you've created that. And so then we're going to choose the next one, essential oil diffusers. Again, I've got Command held down, so it kind of does these all together. It would be Control if you are a Windows user, you crazy cats. And so then we're going to come down and look at next one's diffusers for essential oils. Diffuser oils, that's probably touch and go for me, but we'll include it for now. Essential oil, no. Oil diffuser, yes. Air freshener, no. Aroma diffuser, again, touch and go probably. I mean, I'm not an expert about oil diffusers, although I should be by now. And then essential oil air diffuser. Okay, so let's say that is the list we're going for. I'm going to copy those. I'm going to come over to our target spreadsheet, and I'm going to put the core phrases in there. Now I know I've got these first list of core targets. I'm going to have to highlight that, because otherwise that's going to do my OCD no end of trouble. And we've got our list of core phrases. Next up, you're going to want to repeat that process, but you're going to want to build that list out a whole lot more. So you're going to want to go from just these ones here. You're going to want to find essential oil diffuser where you came from before, and then you're going to want to carry on down that list, and you're going to want to copy over as many phrases as you can have the patience for and time for to copy over. I would recommend, like I say, 50 to 100. You're probably going to want to only start in your PPC campaigns with 20 to 50, but like I say, you're doing the work now, so you might as well get some work done here. Repeat that process, bring your PPC phrases in, and then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to create your singular words. Now, you could take the list of PPC phrases to create your singular word list, but even if you've got 100 PPC phrases, you're probably not going to be left with many singular words. So what I would recommend for doing this is another tool within Helium 10, and we're going to pick up this master list again, and we can either copy it from here. We can sort of Command Shift down and copy all of these, like I've just done there, and we can go back to Helium 10, and the tool that we're going to want to use is Frankenstein, which is the keyword processor. So you can either pull it from this spreadsheet as I'm doing now, or within each of these tools, when I exported it to Excel, you've also got the option to export it straight to Frankenstein. Now, the reason I don't do it straight to Frankenstein anymore, like I used to, is because we do this more holistic approach. We look at the market as well as the keywords, and so I want to compile a bunch of lists into a master list before I process the keywords, as opposed to just doing it in Magnet. So it has changed a little bit to the old way I used to do it. This is just a lot more thorough. And when we are doing this for our listings, we want to be thorough, but more importantly, when we're helping other people, which I'll talk about in a moment, then we really want to make sure we are nice and thorough. So Frankenstein has come up here, and then we're going to take the keywords that I just copied and put them into this list. And you see it's got, it kind of totals it all up for you. You've got 1,600 words in here. And so what we want to do is we want to process that into a list of singular words. And so we're going to have these output settings set here as remove duplicates. I'm going to remove common words like and the, and so on. And then we're going to remove single letters as well. And what I'm going to do, what I like to do, is do one word per line. It just makes this next step of the process easier. So I'm going to do that, and as you can see, we've got 282 words here. So you could either take that out and put that straight into Excel. But the process that we prefer to use is to actually take the irrelevant words out of this list here and now. So we would look through this list, and with this list you're going to be a bit more generous, because before they're going to be like your core phrases, or they're going to be PPC phrases that you're spending money on, whereas this list is going to generate for you traffic. You still want them to be relevant to an extent, but you don't need them to be as hyper relevant as we were looking at before. So for an example, essential, leave that in. Oils, leave it in. Night and light, I might leave that in because, you know, our product might have a feature of a night light on it. Humidifier, again, I would say if that is relevant to your product in terms of that is a feature of your product, include it. But if it doesn't have that, then I would just highlight it, double click, delete, it's gone. Bedroom, I would leave that in because, you know, it might be a product that you want in your bedroom. Oil, diffusers, air purifier, home, room decor. These are all words you want in your listing because this is the kind of thing that people will be searching for. You know, they might search for home accessories or room, diffuser for my room or things like that, or air freshener for the lounge. You know, you want to be potentially discovered for these things organically and with free traffic. You just don't want to be paying for these kind of terms because they're not hyper relevant and you don't know how they're going to convert. And it's something you can obviously test down the line later on, but when you're launching, you got to be, you know, really targeted about this. Again, words like peppermint, you would, you know, may well include, because peppermint oil is a popular essential oil. You may well include that. So, like I say, you would want to go through this list, and a list of 281 is not overly massive. You know, we do bigger lists quite often, so you could go through this in, you know, 20 minutes, half an hour, and just take out the ones that you know are completely irrelevant or you wouldn't want to be anywhere in your listing. And then you've got a couple of options. Again, you can either copy all of these and put them into your target sheet on here for list 3, and you've got them all there. I would recommend doing that. You've got like a saved database, like a master list of your keywords. But what you can also do in Frankenstein is you can then take these into Scribbles, okay? And so this button here, and this is why I recommend Helium 10, because it is a suite of tools that really does dovetail together and really speeds up your workflow, which is really helpful. So if we take this into Scribbles, and then the final step you really want to make sure you do before you apply these is, again, you want to choose the right marketplace, Rule Britannia, God Save the Queen, and you want to come back to your spreadsheet, and you want to grab the list number one, grab these, copy them. These are your core phrases. You want to make sure that you put these into Scribbles before you apply it. So we're going to shift that down a little bit, and we're going to paste those in there, and then we're going to apply. Reason being for leaving the phrases in there is because, as you'll see, it comes up. If you leave it in phrase form, it shows you the phrases here as well as all of these words. And now what Scribbles allows you to do, which is really, really helpful, like we won't go into massive detail about this tool now because this video is going to be too long as it is, but what it means you can do is you can begin to craft your listing and know when you use these phrases and these words. The whole reason we've done this whole flipping process is to get to this point and create a listing that contains this stuff. It's pointless us doing all this stuff if our listing doesn't contain this stuff, because this is how we're going to get found, this is how we're going to sell products, this is how we're going to make money. So we need to make sure they're included. So as you can see, if I begin to type essential oil air diffusers, it begins to pop up and I can populate it, or it did, and that's gone. So I can put it in there. And you can see as I've typed it, it crosses out the phrases that have been used. And so I can write a really optimized title using as many of these key phrases in that title without keyword stuffing, without being spammy. I can use as many of them as possible. Same with these words. If you've written a bullet point about how, you know, the air diffuser is beautiful for aromatherapy and so on and so forth, you might have used certain words from this list, and you might go on to describe something that's similar. And instead of using the same word like aromatherapy or room or burner or whatever, you can replace it with a similar word but that's different. And so by trying to cross off as many, it's like a little game, just gamify this process. And that this is your target, to use 280 words in your listing that are relevant to your product, because remember, you would have gone through this process and made sure that these words are at least somewhat relevant to your product. So, the more of these I use, the more potential traffic I'm going to generate. So you take those and you begin to populate those through the listing. Like I say, that is another video, another process for another day. Actually writing the listing, the keyword research is just the beginning of the process. There's more to it, but this is obviously a very important part. Performing keyword research is a time-consuming process. There's no two ways about it, no getting around it. It's going to take work, it's going to take effort. But firstly, I want to encourage you to be committed to the success of your business. I know there's a lot of people out there that will tell you this is an easy way to make money. It's not. This is a real business. You need to do real work if you're going to make real money. However, what I do understand is that time is money. And you'll hear me talk about it all the time on this channel about how time is even more important than money. You can always earn more money, but you can never get back any of your time. And so recognizing this in recent years, we've been working hard to build a team so that we can have structure, so that we can scale without it costing us our lives, and we can have freedom and enjoy our lives too at the same time. And over the last year, in light of this, we've been developing a service that we've been hoping that is going to help a lot of people get back some time. For the last 9 months, this service has been like in the incubator. Around June last year, we launched this service to our private student community, and we wanted to make sure that it was honed, that the processes were solid. We also wanted to obviously make sure we gave the best quality work to our students, and we wanted to make sure that everything was tip-top. We could have rushed this out, we could have put this out immediately, but we just decided didn't want to rush it. We didn't want to overwork our team. We love our team, and they do a great job, and so we didn't want to cause too much friction there. So we kind of developed this slowly over time. But today we are finally ready to push the button, push go, and launch this out to our wider community. Well, what is this service you're talking about, Ben? I'm glad you asked. It is what we call an Amazon optimization agency, or otherwise known as Optimaze. Optimaze exists to optimize your Amazon presence so that you can work less and make more money and make more of an impact. We realize that time is everything, and so we want to free up your time by delivering for you the best services possible in order to optimize your Amazon presence and increase your impact. We offer design services ranging from images to ebooks, and from instruction manual content to A+ content. We offer copywriting services, keyword research like we've talked about in this video. We offer services to optimize your listings for European marketplaces, and a whole bunch more that's coming. Initially, we've got our core list of services, a few different bundle offers for you, but in time we will look to offer more services that do serve you as an audience with great services that, as we said, help achieve those stated aims of helping you work less and make more impact and make more money. So there you have it. Optimaze is live. And to celebrate, we want to do a competition. We want to give away for one person the opportunity to have their listing completely redone or done for the first time, complete done for you service. So everything you've seen in this detailed process, we're going to do for you for free. We're going to create your listing copywriting for free, and we're going to also provide you with that list of PPC phrases that you can launch some successful PPC campaigns with for free. Complete done for you research and copywriting package. And all you have to do to be in with a shout of winning that is 3 things. Number 1, like this video. Number 2, leave a comment on this video. And number 3, visit the first link in the description and pop your email into the competition to be in with a shout of winning. You have got 1 week to enter from the time this video goes live. So if it's after a week after this video is published, sorry, but the competition has closed. We will leave all of the updates in the description down below. We're going to be drawing out the winner. I will go live in the Facebook group and screen share so you can see me drawing the winner, and then we'll also email you. So you don't have to be in the Facebook group to win. That's just where we'll do the draw, but we'll post on this video in the description, and also we will email you to let you know if you've won. So if you want to be in with a shout of winning our first ever Optimaze giveaway, then make sure you do all of those 3 things. Do also check out the Optimaze site. If you do have anything that you need help with at the moment, please reach out to us. Reach out to Beck, our creative director, who you can find the details for below. In coming weeks, I'll do an interview with Beck, who's our creative director, see if we can get our copywriter to do some stuff as well, and some of the other team down the line. So I've got great content coming up for you. Check out the services with Optimaze, and if you do want to use anything for the whole of March, we've got a very exclusive discount for you, a 10% off discount of any service, all services, as many as you want, on the Optimaze website, and the code for that is just YouTube, which will be in the description below. That's it. I'm done for the day. Thank you so much for watching. I love you as an audience. I appreciate you watching. If you've liked this video, make sure you do smash that thumbs up button. And if you want more content that's going to help you build a business, that's going to give you some of that time that's so precious to you back, make sure you subscribe, because that's what this channel is all about. All right, I'll see you in the next one real soon.